Hello, good morning and welcome back to the fish lock out on the boat. Out on a beautiful, mizzly, foggy, grey day on the boat. Yes, it's the first day that I've been at sea for a couple of weeks. So I'm giving the engine a run and I'm going to see if I can find out what's going on. It's going to be a lure day, I think, given the conditions. Yeah, got to be an optimist though, don't you? Let's go. Let's give this a little go. Fingers crossed, it might clear up later on. Yeah, we've had easterly for a couple of days and it's just moving suddenly, so we have a little tiny bit of confused sea today. Hopefully it doesn't cause us too much trouble. Currently fishing in 29 metres of water. I've kind of picked where I am today because of what the tide's doing. It is bang on high water now. So the tide's going to start ebbing. So we're going to have wind and tide in roughly the same direction. So that means that we should get around about 6 or 7 hours of fishing before the tide changes and you've got wind against tide, and then it's going to be quite sloppy. So yeah, we're fishing to a nice window. I'll try and explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it throughout the day. Yeah, I'm using slightly larger lures at the minute with slightly heavier head, just because it's deeper water. If I tried to use like a 10-gram lure, it would take 10 minutes for the lure to get to the bottom, and with this tide I would be 20 metres away from it. I'm using a slightly heavier head to try and get to the bottom quicker, so I can stay in better contact with the lure. And I'm feathering it down, so I'm not just letting it run off the reel like that. I'm feathering it down in stages so I can try and stay in contact with it, so when it hits the bottom I'll know. It also allows you to feel if a fish picks it up on the drop. Well, it's the first fish, but I'm expecting it to be a wrasse. It's not a big one. It is a very scrappy pouting, and we have a very wet camera lens. Yeah, a flubber-dub pouting that did all of its scrapping at the side of the boat. Straight back down, no messing about. What are we looking at? Yeah, we might get another drift. I'm seeing fish on the bottom, but they are tight on the bottom, which is why I'm using this jig. We are in 32 metres of water now. Unfortunately, the day being like it is with this little mizzly rain, I'm constantly going to have to be cleaning the camera lens off. There's another fish. Oh. Second species of the day, a little baby ballon wrasse with a very blue tail. Don't know if you can see that. I'm constantly looking for signs around, like birds moving or birds or dolphins or anything, even like sometimes a bit of disturbance on the surface of the water. Because it's a big old ocean and the fish do move around. We'll try a different spot. Now this is crazy, this is something I've not seen before, and it goes to show that it's not just about the fishing. I've come into this area here and I was looking down and I was thinking, why is the water brown? It's not that shallow. It's jellyfish. It's a tide line and literally there are billions of jellyfish. You can see how big it is. Look, it's everywhere around me now is just jellyfish. In like a monstrous great swathe. I'm going to try and get my underwater GoPro now, because that is incredible. They are just so thick. I've never seen it like it before. Now I have no idea if that's going to affect the fishing in this area, but it is just truly incredible. The water is literally brown with them, they're just thick with them. And the stingers as well. They're called a mauve stinger. It is just phenomenal. I'm going to try chucking a lure around. See if there's a pollock or a bass hiding underneath all these jellyfish. Amazing. It just goes to show it's not just the fishing. It's the fishing is almost an excuse to bring you to these places, to show you these things. It's an appreciation of every part of the ecosystem that you're operating in. I think it's wonderful. I don't know whether or not the jellyfish have affected things, but I haven't had a single bite when I've been anywhere near here. You'd like to think that a swarm of this size would just switch everything off, because I've been stung a couple of times on my hands just because the tentacles are coming in on the line, and they're literally everywhere you look, from about 50-60 meters out all the way up under the cliff. Yeah, they are everywhere. Test that theory out. I am going to move. I mean, this area here does look really good for it, but I am going to move. I'm going to try somewhere else. And I'm still not catching fish over there, then that theory doesn't work. But yeah, we'll see. Still amazing to see. Well, it's only a little one, but it kind of proves the theory. I've just got past all the jellyfish and I've started finding fish. One doesn't really prove it. If I get a second one, yeah. One could be a fluke, two kind of proves it. Must have knocked this one on the head. Yeah, I'd say the jellyfish are killing off the bite. God, he really wanted that, didn't he? Ooh, that was a savage bite. Oh, hello. Try that little bit of rock again. All I'd done was I just found like a bit of a pinnacle, and I was just fishing into the slack water behind it. About time. I'll tell you what, this feels like a better fish, this feels like a much better fish. What depth of water, I mean. That is a much better pollock. Oh yes. I knew there'd be one down there. Yeah, that is a much better fish. Yeah. That's one that I'm happy to catch. Rocking about like nobody's business. Perfect. And there's the lure right in the front of his mouth. It's good to get one that pulls back. It was nice to find one that pulls back. I have put a drogue out over the side of the boat to try and slow me down a bit, give me a little bit more time. We're still drifting at 0.6 knots. All of the fish so far seem to be nailed right to the seabed, so I'm having to explore the bottom. Oh, there's one. But the thing with that, as you can see the rocks at the background there, that's what it's like under the water as well. It's very snaggy. Yeah, whatever you're looking at out there is what it's like down here. So it's very rocky and very snaggy. So by exploring out the seabed, I am going to be finding the rocks and the seaweed every now and again. The balance. You see this side to side motion, this that's the easterly in it. That's the sloppiness in it. I don't like fishing in an easterly. Seasick weather is an easterly. This is starting to get a little tiresome, this. Constantly having to be bumping it or changing it. I'm going to try and find somewhere where I can have a longer drift. Because here I'm only managing to get about 80 to 100 yards. And there's a crab pot right in front of me. Just take my coat off. Thought, oh yeah, it hasn't rained in about an hour, I'll take my coat off, and it started raining again. Some days are just easier than others. The conditions, this little bit of slop that we've got, is not making it easy. And to be honest, I am flagging a little bit. It's amazing to think 48 hours ago I was in Canada. And the world really is a small place nowadays. One of the things though that I struggle with really bad now, not so much when I was younger, but now, jet lag. Jet lag kills me for like a week. I like when I'm working shift work, like when I was offshore or when I was doing like defence watches or like night shifts, it took me a week to get round from it. Which brings me on to this. I'm going to make myself a drink up. Now I prefer to go off people's recommendations rather than like the adverts that you see. I was talking to a friend of mine, Matt Lingard, who's got the channel The Saltwater Angler, and when he's not hauling bass in from the beaches of Eastbourne, he is a fireman and he works shifts every now and again, and he was telling me, he says he struggles a little bit as well. So he recommended these to me. So today's video is supported and sponsored by Holy Drinks, holier than now. The two of the ones that he recommended that I get with the vitamin drink was the hydration drink, was the energy drink. Now if you're really into that type of thing, you can read all about it. There's no taurine, there's no sugars, no artificial colours, all that sort of stuff. I said, will it keep me awake, will it keep me hydrated, and does it taste nice? And he went, yes, yes and yes. So yes, I've been trying these out. Really easy to make up, especially when you get one of these. All you do is just mix it with a full scoop of water, tip one in. They've got all sorts of wacky flavours. But one of the pre-workout drinks I used to really like was blood orange. So the blood orange one is nice. Blood orange and pineapple are the two that I go for. And all you need to do is literally a full one of these, open your sachet up, tip it in, shake it up, and have a drink. I'm a bit of a weird one. Like this, I just drink water. People who know me, like whenever I go around someone's house and they're like, oh, what do you want to drink? I'll just drink water. Well, yeah, these are, I don't do well on like caffeinated drinks. My head will explode. These aren't so bad. And hopefully it'll get me round off this jet lag. It's been a killer. I thought to myself, tell you what I'll do. I'll try and keep myself awake, I'll try and kill myself. And I did like 28 to 30 hours awake. I went home and I was like, right, 11 o'clock at night, I'll go to sleep, it'll be fine. I woke up next day and I'd slept for 14 hours. I was like, ugh. So yeah, every little helps. I will tag information in the description of the video about Holy energy drinks. They do all sorts. They do like an iced tea, they do energy drinks, they do hydration sachets, they do all sorts. But yeah. Recommended to me by Matt Lingard from the Saltwater Angler. Today's video is supported and sponsored by Sloppy Conditions, no, Holy energy drinks. I'm going to try a little spot of rock in a little bit deeper water, see if I can't get a longer drift, because that was absolutely killing me. Constantly spinning round because the water, when the water gets underneath the cliff and there's all these pinnacles and moves and gullies and that, water swirls around. It just doesn't make for calm conditions or like a stable drift. You can be drifting one way 1 minute and then you just spin completely round, and always seems to be towards the rocks. I found fish in this area here. All it is, it's like a narrow channel of rock between that island and the mainland. It's almost as if like where it was connected. If you're looking without the water there, you'll be over the island and then the rocks and then the land again. Just fishing along that, and there's 1 or 2 pinnacles on it, and the fish always seem to hold just behind them. Let's try the jig. It is strange sometimes. I'll tell you what, this slop is starting to get a bit outrageous. It is funny sometimes how drastic the difference can be with fishing with a jig and fishing a soft plastic. You fish the same place, the same drift, the same speed and everything on the same day, just 2 drifts one after the other. And a soft plastic can pluck them out one after the other and a jig won't touch them. Or the opposite. You can go through there and you'd think that the seabed was barren. With a soft plastic, you don't even get a touch. And as soon as you drop a dig down, sometimes you can just clean up. Quite often it's to do with the drift, to do with the speed, and to do with the way that the water's moving. Oh, there's fish. Hey. That's a scrappy one, that felt more like a ballan wrasse when that was digging around. I was just about to reset where my drift was going as well, because I thought we were off course. Oh, what did I say? I just said I thought that felt like a ballan wrasse. And what was it? A lovely ballan wrasse. Yeah, he's been living out in the open ground. You can tell he's been living in the sand just by how pale he is. Now they do They do almost wait for you to like hold them. It's almost as if they wait for you to hold them for a foot and just go rah. Yeah. They do adapt, their colours do change slightly. Get out! He was in my bag of sandwiches. Yeah, he wanted to be back. Greedy little tyke was in my sandwiches. Right, how are we doing? Might be doing alright. Kill the engine, see what we're doing. Yeah, he was right. Might have to move my sandwich bag now actually. I do like catching wrasse. They scrap hard. They're really accommodating, as in they give a really positive bite. I think I've just missed another one there. And there's no toe the same. Like a fingerprint. And yeah, like I was saying, they do adapt, they do change their colours. Sometimes you can get them and they're bright red. I mean like fire truck red and white spots. And other times they're golden and brown, and other times they're green and blue spots, the whole lot. They're incredible. There's lots of little fish down there and they keep hitting this spinner and turning it round. Yeah. I know there's fish there, it's just not working. I'm not accepting defeat, I'm just going to come back later. Yeah, that is frustrating. Right. Yeah, I think I'll give it like another half an hour, 3/4 of an hour inshore, and then I might kick off to a couple of wrecks, see what they're fishing like. Yeah, it seems to be anywhere near the shoreline. It's just got millions. I mean, they're not as thick as they were down there. I mean, the sea's not red with them, but yeah, there's hundreds of thousands of them. Probably what's happened is all this southerly, I mean you can see all the motions pushing straight towards the rocks. We've had this for 2 days, it's probably been collecting all these jellyfish up against the side of the cliff. I'm going to try one more spot just along there, just around this next cove. And if the jellyfish are like that in there too, I'm going to kick out to some of the wrecks and hope that all the jellyfish are tight inshore. That there is a wind knot, and the worst thing you can do with them is pull them tight. You try and spread them out a little bit. Try and open them out, and they should just, there you go. Yeah, the attempt is to get hold of it and try and pull it out. 9 times out of 10 that'll just make the knot that tight that you can't get it undone. So it's best to try and spread it out with your fingers. Just gently tease it open with your fingers and it should fall apart. It happens when you're casting like light braid with a full spool like this. This braid hasn't been on this reel very long. It's brand new braid, so it's still quite springy. Casting it into a little bit of wind, and just after you cast, if you don't pull it tight and lay the first wrap tight onto the reel, the next time you cast, just watch. If I'm going to cast like that, if I wind straight away now, this is slack going onto the reel. You're better off pulling it tight so that the first wind goes onto the reel tight. Otherwise, the next time you cast, more line wants to leave the spool than can do, and that's what creates a wind knot. There's quite a few seals around this area. One of them just popping up just at the back of his ear. You might hear them, they make the strangest, like wailing, moaning sound. You would honestly, if it was pitch black and you didn't know what it was, you would think it was like a kelpie or like a mermaid or something. I can see the seals swimming around under the water. I tell you what, they're incredibly fast. Just the agility and the speed is incredible. Let's leave these guys to it. I'm going offshore. Right, I am at the first wreck that I'm going to try. I am in 64 metres of water, drifting currently at a knot, so I might put the drogue out. And I've come past like 3 huge bust-ups of tuna on the way out here. That isn't necessarily a good thing for what I'm wanting to do, because it just means that the fish end up like hiding inside the wreck, because those tuna eat everything. Any pollock, any bass, anything small enough to fit inside that tuna's mouth, they'll have a go at it. They're just hovering up everything, all the scad, all the whiting, all the mackerel, all the garfish, everything. Rig's changing slightly. I fish a 3-way swivel, and this is a 10-ounce lead, and I have got around about 6 to 8 feet of 20-pound fluoro, ending in a larger lure. I like fluoro for this because you can run it between your fingers like this and straighten out all the kinks. Now that I know which way I'm going to be drifting, I will go up tide, put the drogue out and drift over the wreck. I don't know what it is, I don't know if it's a shoal of pouting or whiting, but there's something down there that keeps like striking at it. But I put quite a large lure. Oh, there's a bite. I've got quite a large lure on, because I was thinking there might be quite a bit of mackerel down there, and hopefully the lure would be too big for them but not too big for the pollock. Yeah, just keep feeling little snaps, little taps. Ooh. Yeah, don't know what it is, something small, pouting, whiting maybe. I'll have one more drift with this larger lure. Oh, there was another one. Oh, there we go, found it. I was just about to say I'll have another drift with this larger lure, and if I can't find it, I'll put a smaller one on. Scad. So that's what it is. Yeah. This is a horse mackerel, also called a scad. And that'll be what all the tuna are feeding on. Like I said, the reason I didn't go straight down with a little lure, one of these, which is what I would normally use, is because I figured coming through all them busted tuna, I just thought there'd be a bit of bait fish around here, there'd be a bit of smaller fish. And I don't really want to be catching the smaller fish, I want to be catching the fish that are eating the smaller fish, the pollock and the bass. Yeah, I'll go around and run that again with that bigger lure. Yeah. Still a lot of tuna about. They're busting probably from there to probably here. There's still a lot of them around. And all I'm doing is I'm dropping to the bottom. That lead is carrying my lure down to the bottom, then winding up slowly for 10-15 turns, dropping back down again. So that lure is swimming up and down near the wreck. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, I've lost it. Oh, no, he's back. Oh. That is a jumbo scad. Yeah, this wreck's obviously got a lot of these on. The first one that I caught was about standard size for a horse mackerel. This one is a big one. Yeah, that's a big scad, that one. Still not what we're after though. Not what we're after at all. If this is another scad, we're going to move to try a different wreck. Yep. Well, this one's a bit fat pouty. There's no point scrapping now. You didn't do now all the way up. There's no point fighting now. You're on the boat. Yes. Just another pouting. Because they really are like a bottom feeder. They're living, rooting about right in bottom. They're usually full of worms. They're not very good eating. Let's go to the next wreck. Right, hopefully that's that. Yeah, that's two rigs that I've lost into the same piece of wreck, and it's not on the bottom, it's somewhere off a little bit because I can feel, because I'm pulling it and it's coming. So yeah, there's a chunk of net down there. So wreck number 3. Right, let's try this one, see how it goes. Oh, there's a fish. Second drop down, managed to find it. First drop down there was like a little pluck. I thought, oh, might be pouting. This one feels more like a pollock. There's only a little one. There's only a little one, but it's a pollock. There's only a little one, but it is the target species. There you go. It's catching bigger ones than this inshore. Good man. Let's go around again. It's a long way up and a long way down, but I'm glad that I've managed to finally start finding some fish. Yeah, that last wreck had a lot of promise. It had a lot of features on it, but unfortunately it had either a bit of rope or a bit of net stuck on it. Not uncommon when you do a wrecking session to have to go through 6, 8, 10 wrecks before you find a good one. Oh, there's a fish. This feels like a pollock. Yeah, that was a nice first run. When they shake their heads like that, oh, I hate it. All you can do is just hope that you've got a good hook hold, because that's the only thing that you can't control. The hook might just be in the skin of its lip. There's nothing you can do about it. What you hope for is you hope for a hook hold where it's swallowed it and it's right down its throat. So there's no way of it shaking it loose. But if the hook hold's really, really light, doesn't matter how light and how gentle you play it, you can shake it off. Yeah, I'm happy with this one. But look how light that hook hold is. Look, hook. That hole there in its lip. Now look where my finger is. Every time it was shaking its head and every time it was digging and pushing and banging and it was working that hole bigger. And because the hook that I was using was only that big, that was very light, that was just on. Now this doesn't look like a deep water pollock to me because it's got all like the purples and mottles. This one's come off the reef. What it's doing out here, like 11 mile off, I have no idea. But it hasn't properly blown. I'm going to see if I can't put this one back. Good man, good man. Because I took my time bringing it up, because it wasn't properly blown. That one's gone back. Yeah. We'll see if we can't get a big one now. I'll take one home. Just steaming back up to have another drift, and that pollock's come back up actually. It's gone down so far, but it can't go all the way. It's just not going to make it, I don't think. But plus side of that being, its pollock is delicious. Let's see, where are you? Yeah, it's just not going back. It does look like he'd be alright. I mean, there's no blisters in his side. His eyes aren't out. He's still full of colour. It's just not having it. I'll get him in a live bait tank, get some water in him and get him dispatched and bled. Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Past that narrow window. Yeah, missed 2 fish on that drift. Pouting. Tell you what, there's definitely a good head of pouting down there. Do you mind? What's happening now is that the drift's slackened right off. Drifting at 0.9 now, so I think the pouting are coming out of the wreck. So every drift that I'm going down, I'm just getting pouting. What that also means is it just means that we've got about half an hour here before we've got that wind against tide conditions I was talking about, which means the tide's already turned inshore. That's my cue to go, because the conditions out here are going to start getting worse and going to start getting worse quickly. I'll let this one go. I think it is a pouting. Let this one go, batten everything down and then steam back because I've got a fish to fillet. Yeah, as suspected, another pout. I hope you enjoyed joining me. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the Fish Locker YouTube channel, where we have hundreds of videos from our adventures just like this one. We upload new videos every Sunday evening, So don't forget to click subscribe and we'll see you on the next one.
Let's go.